Fiendsmith has been popping up a lot on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel lately, and for good reason too. The engine is really good, there's no denying that. But do you really need it to compete in today's ranked ladder? In today's video, I'm going to be showcasing a deck that's been known to use the Fiendsmith engine, White Forest Azamina, and I'm going to showcase how the deck can perform well without the Fiendsmith engine. What's going on, my friend? This is SynchroGuy, and today I'm here to go over the White Forest Azamina deck that I've been using lately, and it's a lot of fun. Now, I'm highlighting the fact that I'm using this deck without the Fiendsmith engine, not because it's like I don't think it's like that good or anything. It's obviously really good, but I want to showcase the fact that even without the Fiendsmith engine, like, let's just say by some chance you cannot craft the Fiendsmith engine because you either didn't pull the cards when they were available, or you couldn't craft them because you didn't have the crafting points for them, or just, you know, whatever reason you possibly have. I want to showcase that you don't need to play the Fiendsmith engine to compete in today's ranked ladder. Like, it's possible to do well without the Fiendsmith cards. And I'm going to show you a deck that's been known to use the Fiendsmith cards, but I'm going to show how well it can do without them. And of course, since, you know, I'm the Synchro guy, obviously I had to choose a Synchro deck, so why not? So again, I'm going to be showcasing my White Forest Azamina deck. It's a lot of fun, even without the Fiendsmith cards. Like, it does very well. It performs quite well if you're able to pop off. Like, it's so much fun. Now, before we get into this, don't forget to hit that like button, click subscribe, and ding that notification bell so you can get more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content. Alright, let's go over the deck profile. Alright, so here's the current White Forest Azamina deck list that I've been running with lately. So, we're playing 2 copies of Effect Veiler, 3 copies of Draw and Lockboard, 2 copies of XC, 1 Esteller, 3 Elzetti, 1 Azamina ZLT, 3 Ash Blossoms, 3 Sylvie, 1 Resilia, and 3 Molchummy Flawless. And 1 Diabell Star. That does it for the monsters. And for the spells, we're playing 2 Tales of the White Forest, 1 Hollow Azamina, 2 Chica Game, 3 Deception of the Simple Spoils, 2 Call by the Grave, 1 Crossout Designator, 1 Wanted, 1 Simple Spoils of the White Forest, and then for the traps, we're playing 3 Infinite Permanents and 1 Wolves of the White Forest. Then onto the extra deck for fusion monsters, we're playing 1 Azamina Sylvie, 1 Azamina Wasiligo, and then 1 copy of Guardian Chimera. For the synchros, we're playing 1 copy of Formula Synchron, 1 Tri-Edge Master, 1 Sevilla, 1 Wasilia, and 1 Diabell, Queen of the White Forest, and then 1 Baronade de Fleur, 1 Chaos Angel. And then for Xyz, we're playing 1 Baguska and 1 Typhon. And then finally for the Link monsters, we're playing 1 copy of Artemis, 1 copy of Masquerena, and 1 copy of SP Low Knight. Like, now, a couple things I want to quickly just touch upon for this deck. So, if you're not familiar, if you're wondering why I only play 1 copy of a Stellar, is mostly because of the fact that, well, she kind of runs counterintuitive a bit with the Sylvie here, because both of these monsters don't have a way to special summon themselves out in the field. Like, they need to be either normal summon, or you try to special summon out with something like with the Elzelti or maybe the Simple Spells of the White Forest. Do not recommend doing it with the spell though. But anyway, reason we play only 1 of her is mostly due to the fact that, well, her effect is good, but she still requires the use of you to send like a spell tracker from your hand or field to the graveyard. Whereas Sylvie just on summoning, just you get to search a White Forest spell tracker. Like, there's no, like, you don't have to send anything for it. So. And basically that means that Sylvie is 100% always going to be live, and Esteller, like, yes, it can be live, but still, it's like, there might be a chance, like, something could possibly, something could happen. Like, either there might be a chance sometimes you don't open up with a spell or trap, that it's a rare occurrence that can happen at times, or your opponent is able to, well, stop you. So again, most of the time, you know, Sylvie is kind of like the better of the two. So yeah, it's like you definitely want to see Sylvie more than a Stellar, and again, so and make sure they don't, you know, interfere with each other. It's best to only play 1 copy of a Stellar. Right. Now, one other thing I want to touch on is the Chicken Game. This is a card I don't see too many White Forest decks play, and I think it's a really good card for the deck. Mostly because, well, first of all, it's a freaking upstart goblin for the deck. Like, and it's an upstart goblin that sticks around, and that is important because that means if you, let's just say you activate it, you use this effect get a free draw, and then you could then just use it as a cost for one of your white forest cards, and then yeah, just you can start popping off. And I will say, make sure you actually do that at some point during your turn, because you do not want to have this around when it's your opponent's turn and like you'll be given them a free draw. We do not want to do that. But for a deck like this, I think SynchroGuy is a really good card. Again, you get free draw and pays for the cost of one of your white forest cards. Almost like a 2-for-1. And now let's see. Next thing I want to cover is the woes of the white forest. Like some white forest decks don't either choose like probably don't play this card for reasons, but I wanted to clarify, like, we played this trap card, and because of the fact of, well, this will help you get into the Silvera, which to help book and eclipse all of your opponent's monsters. And now normally that would be for Diabell's job to do that, but we do have like the former Synchro here as an alternative route, which can actually go into when you synchro summon both it and Diabell. You could go into like Chaos Angel or Baronade, but if you're doing this monster, probably gonna be Chaos Angel. So yeah, and because that line of line is there, we can play the Walls card, so that way we can we can still get to the Silvera and book it because our opponent's monsters. So either way, yeah. And one last thing I want to touch on is, of course, 3 copies of Drone Lockbird. This is good. This was just something I started playing around with when I first trying out this deck, and like, I mean, so far it's been doing well, but of course, there might be times maybe not having 3 Joes is the most optimal thing, but it's really good against like some decks, like most decks actually I would say, because again, like, I mean, like if we got Fiendsmith, they do a lot of searching. Like if they try to use Engraver and get the spell, hell, you drop Droll and they can't do the Fiendsmith line potentially. So it's a really good card, but I would say but I will say that maybe you could possibly reduce the number count. Like either you could probably reduce it down like 2, or like I would say that you should at least keep 1 copy of Droll in your deck, mostly for like something like Cross-Out Destiny, because Droll against this deck could potentially hurt pretty bad. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Alright, so now they're done with the deck, let's quickly go over the replays to show how this deck performs without the Fiendsmith. Alright, so in this first replay, we're going to be going first against Tenpai, and we're going to be going full combo here, so I just want to showcase what this deck can do when it goes uninterrupted. So hand look is pretty nice. We're going to start off by special summoning on the Diabell star part, and from there we're going to use that to get access to the Azamina part of the deck, obviously. But and of course we're going to use Tales of the White Forest and get a Stellar, so that way we have access to it, because that spell search doesn't work unless we control a spellcaster or illusion monster, and this was just like preempted, like just in case our opponent might actually have something. So here we're gonna go through the we'll fast through this a bit. We got of course the whole line, go for Basilia, search for the hunted, and we put that back hack, and then we use wanted, get another well, okay, at this time I was playing more than 1 Diabell at the time, so I would say don't play, just play 1 copy of Diabell for this deck. Anyway, okay, so we got now that we got out severe, yeah, we're gonna go for the whole White Forest play, because now we got some protection in case our opponent did have something. So here we got out the Synchro Basilia. Oh yeah, get a little search going, and of course since we trigger a bunch of things. We trigger a Stellar because we send a spell trap to the graveyard's cost, and then we trigger Wolf because we send its cost. And from here we'll go straight into Diabell. Diabell just big any big spell trap will get back Tails for this scenario. And from here we'll just, yeah, it's like we've got another synchro line we could go into. So here because we have Zelty, we'll use that to such a summon out by sending Tails and grab Rusia. Yeah, such a summon Rusia, and then from here we'll synchro summon straight into Tri-Edge Master, and now Tri-Edge Master is like not gonna really do much besides just getting us a draw, but the main point for this is that the fact that, oh yeah, fact here is that we're gonna be using it as material to synchro summon the Baron into floor, so we got extra background protection. And also thanks to the Azamina Zelty, we got access to the Simple Spoils White Forest, which will allow us to future some good opponents. So our opponent's getting our civilian. That's getting. We're gonna obviously and they're gonna try to. There's a lot of stuff going on. Let me slow down a bit. So Of course, they try to do a bunch of things, and of course, they try to stop us pretty well. But of course, we have a. This is why I wanted to showcase, like, this deck has so many ways to interact with your opponent during their turn and try to stop their plays. So yeah, like if they can possibly stop one form of negation, that's fine. We've got plenty of other negations or other forms of interruptions that we can use. Yes, and this is just another one of them. Like, oh man, it's like drawing into 2 copies of Ashfall. Jeez. And yeah, so like it's like and look at that. It's like they wanted to use so many cards to try to, well, give themselves room to try to play, but we interacted them so much. And of course here we're gonna use Diabell, go straight into the Severa, and like it doesn't matter like what their Roku will summon. I mean, like whatever is gonna happen, everything's getting booked. And our opponent sees the writing on the wall, and that's just game. All right, let's go on to the next replay. Alright, for this next replay, we're going to be going second this time, and we're going to be going second against Snake Guys. So, I want to showcase what this deck, wants to try to, will try to do if it happens to go second. And this is also why we play, a bunch of good hand traps, and like just any way to interact during the opponent's turn. Alright, so our opponent's going to start by, acting his normal summon popular and get a search, and as soon as that happens, we're going to drop draw and just like try to put the limit on all of their power level. So they're not gonna be doing much searching, but they are good. They still have a couple plays, like they're gonna still end on Flamberger's Dragon again, which like not the greatest, but it's still nothing to laugh at, like if you're not careful. So I mean, thanks to these hair traps, thanks to our draw, we were able to stall our opponent, and now we have our turn. We can try to do our main play. I will say, for like one of the weaknesses of this deck is that it's going second really hurts. So, and like it wants to go first a lot, and on the off chance we go second, we want hand traps like draw and other things to make sure we slow down our opponent so that way we can play uninterrupted as much as possible during our turn. Alright. So here we got plenty ways to go straight into our White Forest play, but here our opponent is gonna drop Nibiru, but you know what? That's okay. That's okay, because we still have plenty of plays we can use to try to keep going. Like that's the Nibiru does not stop us one bit. Oh, it's like how cute. They gonna try to Druid Swarm us, but they should wait for us to use the effect first. But that misplay. But anyway, Wait, doesn't matter if they stop at White Forest play. We still got the Azamina play here, so we can just go straight to Roselia, get Wanted, and oh yeah, it's like if you get both Azamina Monster and White Forest, you can just Secret Summon something like Baroning the floor to really put the screws on the opponent. Either way, whether or not you're able to OT, yeah, our opponents are sorry because they know we just keep going. But I will say in this scenario, if by some chance you're not able to OTK your opponent, then focus on trying to just set up a way to interact and put the screws on your opponent so they don't try to, well, kill you. Alright, now let's go to the last replay. Alright, and for this last replay, we're going to be going first again, and this time I want to be showing you what, like, a possible alternate round you could possibly go through during your first turn, but if you have to. Like, this is probably also one of the scenarios in case, like, on the off chance, like, you probably don't have a way to try to, well, and this is kind of like scenario where you probably have to prioritize. You use, like, your White Forest cards to go for the Azamina play and just maybe hope for the best. You're able to get it into, like, another spell trap to do your White Forest play, because sometimes, like, there's a rare chance this can happen. Regardless of whatever you do, I want to showcase that regardless of what happens, Vince, like, you'll be okay. Okay, so for here, we're gonna start by Special Summoning Diabell, just get a search going, get a simple soul first, so our Hell Azamina can be used. They're gonna try to use some Melcharme, but we're gonna stop out that with Ash Blossom, so they don't try to, Melcharme or Maxi can really not be very great against our deck, so we want to keep that from going off if we can. Yeah, so of course, and for here, because we don't want much of White Forest play, we can just link summon into IP Masquerena, and for yeah, it's just like this will just give you a couple other ways to like have possible ways to interact with the opponent. And again, it's not much, but still, it's at the very least something. And here thanks to one team, we're gonna stuff like that someone's spawn card, and well, look at this, and this is also nothing much of a chicken game. Hey, look at, like I said, like with chicken, you get free draw, and it pays your cost for one of your White Forest cards. So, and one of the things I also want to kind of highlight is that for a deck like this, you want to definitely actually try to have a good amount of spell traps that you can use with your white forest cards, because if you have like too many monsters, it could probably very well hurt your deck a bit. Okay, because again, white forest need spell traps to try to play out, and if you don't have any spells or traps in your opening hand, that's gonna be a problem. So yeah. But as you can see here was like we've got point. Yeah, we had the right amount of spells or traps to be able to get access to our white forest engine, and just yeah, like we got so many ways to interact. Again, we got white forest spells, we got wolves spells, we got Diabell, we got our Severa, we got IP Masquerana, and now we have Baroness. So yeah, there's just so many ways you can do to interact with the opponent and just really shut them down. Now, like, this is so cool. Now, obviously, I think I should have done this. I should have done what I did in the first replay, just go Severa. But our opponent just knows we have so many lines of interaction, and the fact that he also just didn't like use lightning sword or anything like that, that's like, yeah, that's just GG. But again, if there's for whatever reason, if you don't have access to the Fiendsmith engine or don't want to use them for whatever reason, you can play a deck like this without the Fiendsmith cards and still do very well. So that's just the main thing I want to showcase. It's a really fun deck, so I highly recommend giving White Forest a try if you can. It is so much fun. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, my friend, and I hope you have / had an awesome day today.